This video is brought to you by NordPass. Head over to nordpass.com/YBOC and use code YBOC to get 70% off a 2-year NordPass premium plan. Finally, secure all your passwords once and for all, and most importantly, help out the show.
Everybody loves Wanda, or Scarlet Witch, the Avenger with the ability to manipulate reality and randomly stop speaking in an Eastern European accent.
Sometimes it's hard.
Over the decades, she's been in Got Milk ads, the background of video games, animated shows that barely counted as animated, and now, finally, her own hit live-action series, WandaVision. But this isn't about any of those. This is about the bonkers, the embarrassing, the unbelievable bits of canon that she would magically erase from our memories if she could. We're talking about Wanda's bovine nanny, how her babies ended up as a villain's hands, and that time she went all Game of Thrones on her bro. This is CanonBall. WandaVision is a show about a superhero of vaguely defined powers living inside a vintage sitcom with her dead husband, an android who used to be Robert Downey Jr.'s robo-butler. Yeah, it's weird. But guess what? Everything you see in that show is actually an extremely watered-down version of the supreme weirdness that goes on in Scarlet Witch's comic book adventures.
The Avengers Emergency Fund is emptied by a staggering bill.
Weirdness like, number 4, Wanda's midwife was a talking cow. Like every other superhero, Wanda and her twin brother Pietro, aka Quicksilver, have like 16 different contradictory origin stories. At various points, they've been the children of random Romani nomads, a superhero called the Wizard, Magneto, random Romani nomads again, and an actual witch. But throughout all those retcons, one basic truth remains unchanged. The midwife who pulled them out of their mother's vagina was a cow. No, Lady Bova isn't a mutant whose power is looking like a cow, if you were wondering. She is an actual cow who was mutated into somewhat human form by a being known as the High Evolutionary. And if you're also wondering why the High Evolutionary would do that, well, in our experience, you don't get to be called the High Evolutionary unless you give sentience to a cow every once in a while. In Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's most famous origin story, their mother is an Eastern European woman named Magda who freaks out after learning that her husband can control metal. Oh, and also she wasn't a huge fan of how much he loved killing people. Magda runs away and hides in a nearby castle inhabited by a crazy scientist in purple armor and his talking farm animals, because all of that still seems less scary than her psychomagnetic hubby. Meanwhile, sweet old Bova continued showing up all over the Marvel Universe for decades, until she was gruesomely murdered by her boss in 2014. At least WandaVision gave her a cute little cameo in a milk ad, so that's nice. Number 3, Wanda's babies became a villain's hands. Like the MCU version, comic book Wanda eventually falls in love with her synthetic Avengers teammate, the Vision, presumably after the team's vending machine rebuffed her advances and ate her dollar. Magic mutant dates crying robot is a weird enough concept, but things turn exponentially weirder when their children are born and end up looking like this. Okay, let's back up. How did Wanda even get pregnant from what's essentially a 6-foot vibrator who fights crime? Easy, by channeling the magic from a town full of witches while wishing for kids in 1983's Vision and the Scarlet Witch number 3.
Yep, definitely pregnant.
Everything is peachy keen for the new family for a while, but after the twins are born and the writers found out how boring it is to write regular babies, they started hinting that there was something weird about them. For instance, they blip out of existence whenever their mom isn't thinking about them.
They were right there.
Which is not how people work, right?
I'm in an impossible fantasy world.
The hints that there's something wrong with Wanda's babies are confirmed in Avengers West Coast number 52 from 1989 when Master Pandemonium, a villain with demons instead of hands, uses them as fire-spitting weapons. Now, we'd have to consult a licensed pediatrician to be sure, but we don't think that's a feature most babies have. Definitely not without paying extra anyway. The same issue goes on to explain that Wanda wanted children so badly she conjured them with her magic, but since she can't create new souls, she used stolen fragments from the demon lord Mephisto. Through Mr. Demon Hands, these fragments go back to Mephisto and the babies stop existing, because they just barely existed in the first place.
It's true, I'm going mad.
So how does Wanda handle this information? She doesn't handle it at all.
No, I won't believe it, Pietro, I won't.
Because her friends erase her memory of the whole demon baby saga to spare her the trauma, and the writers from having to try and write interesting stories about toddlers. But that means one of the most powerful Avengers ends up living with a huge hole in her mind. There's no way this can backfire, right? Number 2, she kept going crazy and killing her teammates. Like we said, Scarlet Witch is one of the most powerful members of the Avengers, able to defeat some truly formidable enemies by herself.
My hex power will cause his sword to slip through his fingers.
What happened?
Unfortunately, it looks like losing your kids and having them eternal sunshined out of your brain isn't very conducive to good mental health. There were already hints that Wanda was losing it before they even messed with her memories, like when she slapped her teammate, the Wasp, which people keep doing? Perhaps touched that his then daughter had suddenly started talking like him, Magneto decides to visit Wanda while she was catatonic after the whole baby drama. This causes her to have a mental breakdown and lose her inhibitions, both power-related and sexual. In 1990's Avengers, West Coast number 56, she freezes her friends with her newly expanded powers, and it's heavily implied that she gives a wonderful handjob to Wonder Man, a fellow Avenger who'd been crushing on her for years. Which is pretty sweet of her, actually. Oh, except then she also kills Wonder Man and then brings him back to life just to keep messing with him. Luckily, she decides to go back to being good after finding out a villain called Immortus is manipulating her into going evil. And the Avengers welcome her back with open arms, which isn't such a wise decision as it turns out. In 2004's Avengers Disassembled, Wanda goes double crazy after unforgetting her fake babies and murders Vision, Ant-Man, and Hawkeye. Having imaginary kids is a big decision, guys. Then, while the Avengers and the X-Men debate what the hell to do with her, Wanda uses her powers to reshape reality, trapping Marvel's heroes in a crazy mutant-dominated world known as House of M. That particular mental breakdown ends with her depowering 99% of mutants on Earth, causing many to die or wish they were dead. But hey, at least she feels really terrible about it now. Number 1, she totally porked her brother, Pietro.
I just hacked this video because it clearly isn't using a password manager like NordPass from the cybersecurity experts behind NordVPN. Thankfully, I'm a friendly hacker, and I'm going to teach you how to set up an account and why NordPass rocks so this doesn't happen to you again. For starters, NordPass is incredibly helpful for extremely forgetful nerds like me. It stores all your passwords and credit card information in one secure place, so you only need to remember one password. It's immediately way better than any password manager built into your computer because it can travel with you from computer to computer, so it doesn't matter what operating system you have. But maybe you use your browser for autofill. And that would be great if my freaking Chrome vault wasn't always getting hacked. Just a few months ago, somebody hacked my Grubhub account with a Chrome password that got compromised, and they ordered a single pizza. Just one pizza. Those freaking sick bastards. That is a true story. But if you haven't already had all your passwords stolen, exporting them and putting them into NordPass takes like 15 seconds, and then it easily integrates into whatever browser you choose to use. And for new websites, NordPass can easily generate new passwords with $signs and umlauts or whatever, so people can't just hack into your accounts by guessing your pet's name 69 for everything. And all you gotta do to secure this secure goodness is head over to nordpass.com/YBOC and use code YBOC to get freaking 70% off a 2-year NordPass premium plan plus 1 additional month for free. This is a super limited end of winter sale, so hop on it ASAP. So sign up today or I'll hack your Instagram and flood it with erotic Marvel fan art. And I don't want to do that. You don't want me to do that. So let's just not, for both of us, for all of our sakes, just sign up for NordPass.
The Ultimate Marvel Universe was a more streamlined, Hollywood-friendly parallel reality that served as a testing ground for what became the MCU. Some parts of it, like Captain America's rude present-day awakening, or Nick Fury looking like a guy whose duty is to please that booty, were incorporated into the movies. Others, not so much. In the case of Ultimate Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver's relationship, that's definitely for the best. See, when Wanda and Pietro first show up in 2002's The Ultimates, fans noticed they seemed awfully close to each other. Like, read each other poems on a boat in Venice close. Like, illegal in most states close.
Come on, sis.
There's also a running joke about Pietro being jealous of Wanda flirting with some androids, although her robo-fetish seems downright adorable in this universe, relatively speaking. Initially, we all assumed that the Ultimate Scarlet Witch-Quicksilver relationship would never move beyond some awkward hugs and light innuendo. But when new writer and future Marvel TV exec Jeff Loeb came aboard in 2007's Ultimates 3, he decided to make the twincest explicit in an issue that bizarrely treats Cap like some old-fashioned Victorian socialite for thinking that's gross.
No, never.
Later, Wolverine regales the Ultimates with the tale of the time he saw Wanda and her bro doing it in the jungle, right after working in the fact that he once banged their mom, resulting in a half-brother Wanda never got to meet, which, again, probably for the best. Anyway, don't get mad at us if all these stories end up in the last couple episodes or season 2 of WandaVision, although they'd probably have to move it from Disney Plus to the dark web or something. Maybe Hulu.
Oh, Sylvester P. Smythe, you've really done it this time. Oh, hello. Thank you for watching today's episode of CanonBall. If you liked it, make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, ring the bell, and let us know in the comments if there are any other Marvel stories you think will never make it to the MCU. And if you didn't like it, might I suggest calling a loved one, reconnecting with an old friend, and letting them know about this stupid video you just watched.